tell everybody where you grew up.
Well, I grew up Newark, New Jersey, South Side, 18th Street, 15th Ave, what is now known as the Ocean, a major, how I say, birthplace for most of the Crips that's out here in New Jersey, Irvington, and East Orange. South 18th Street, 15th Avenue, the Ocean.
And for my hip hop fans out there, whenever you heard Redman yell out Brick City, that's where he was talking about, right?
Yeah, right around the corner. Right round the corner.
One of the goats,
yeah.
Man.
Yes, sir.
Well, shit, to the best of your knowledge, how did, Bloods and Crips make their way to Brick City?
Okay, well, from my side, and I can say this with the most 100% proof, and there's no one out there that can go against it if they do. I mean, you got to come up with the facts. But me, I was the first person to actually step foot in Newark and Irvington as an active gang member. I was always the oddball out of a lot of people in my neighborhood. I always wanted to be different. If I was doing karate, everybody else did karate, I played basketball. If everybody else started playing basketball, I started gangbanging. And it took them a while to catch on to that. I used to go to school. People used to make fun of the way I used to dress and everything. I used to dress like the homies out west, along with my Newark urban swag. And, a lot of people really wasn't digging it. But now, late 90s, mid 90s, late 90s into the 2000s. That's when, everybody started listening more to Ice Cube, MC8, NWA, and everybody out on the West. And they're noticing that, the same gang signs similar to what I used to grow up. I used to crip walk in school and everything. They noticed that along the videos. And, some people just took the program, copy, pasted, went along with it. Some people met the right people and got affiliated the correct way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the best I could put it to that.
Okay. And tell everybody out there what set you're from.
I was originally 83rd Street, what is known as HOODS Gangsta Crips. I was originally one of them. But, it's just a lot of things that took place after a while within that set that I really wasn't agreeing with. You could just say it was a marriage that went bad. And I chose to go along with divorce, and I found a new wife, and her name is lNSANE GNGSTA CRlP, 9-7 Trey. Bad guy.
Okay. Because I'm from Long Beach, born and raised. Is it the same branch of Insanes that are out here in Long Beach?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. Some of them are, but the majority isn't. And, I'm not downplaying nobody or nothing, but the thing is, I'm a leader. I'm not a follower. And once I became insane, a lot of people from Long Beach that's connected with the homies out in New York, they told me how to get down. Well, how we say to get down came along with the ICU. I don't dig too much, not the ICU, the ICG, my fault. But I don't dig too much into that set. I had nothing bad to say about them, and it ain't much I can say about them. But I do know a lot of members, and they respect me and they respect my decision. Some people, it's a little animosity amongst the two sets, and I don't really understand why. And, like I said, I don't go into that. It's either you respect me or you don't. You friend or you're a foe. Simple as that.
Yeah.
But a lot of the insane Crip gang homies, I know them all from New York, and they're in tune with the homies out there on the West Coast, Long Beach and everything. That's what they say, and you know what? That's how I'm a project. That's how they break it down to me every time. Yeah, we connected with the homies on Long Beach, and I say, okay, I don't doubt nobody. I don't even try to question them or nothing, because at the end of the day, when you're claiming something, eventually the originators, they're going to find out. They're going to catch up to you. And if you're not legit, it's a price you got to pay for that. Everybody knows that.
Well, shit, let's take it back a little bit before Bloods and Crips even came into the picture. To the best of your knowledge, what were some of the gangs that were, hanging around Newark around that time, before the Bloods and Crips even popped up on the scene?
From my knowledge, you had the Alley Cats, the Aztecs. You had a few pimps and tomahawks out here. A few people that called themselves the Jolly Stompers. And once you came across my era, you had a whole bunch of regular street gangs with all kinds of crazy names. Like me and my boys, we went by this group called the Poison Clan because we always in karate.
Okay.
And we used to watch a lot of karate flicks. We was big on the Wu-Tang Clan. We wanted to be just like them. So we came along with the Poison Clan, called ourselves the FDV, which is Five Deadly Venom. But you normally know if you watch the movie, it's 6 Venom.
Mm-hmm.
But number 6, he's not as powerful as 1 through 5. Number 6 just knows a piece of what 1 through 5 knows, and he could never beat one of the Venoms by itself. He had to team up with his Venom, and that was one of my little brothers. Like we really played it.
You guys put that shit. You really thought it out, right?
Yeah, we really played that one to the full. And I came across a guy from the West Coast. I'm not gonna say his name because he's in enough shit as as it is. He took me to New York, and I got jumped inside that park. What is it? Central Park.
Okay.
In Times Square, Manhattan.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right all the way up top. Yeah, and all my New Yorkers, they know exactly what I'm talking about because within that park, it's a section that has a staircase all the way to the top of this brick foundation. It got a whole bunch of brick benches, seats, and checkerboards and everything, or chessboards.
Uh-huh.
I got jumped in right there.
Okay.
Right there.
And how were you?
14.
Okay. Yeah, it's about an average age.
Yeah.
I'm assuming before that you were out there being a little reckless.
I wouldn't even say reckless. I would say I was a ladies' man, but for the fact that I was a ladies' man, that got me in a lot of trouble with a lot of males amongst the neighborhood. So yeah, you can say it was reckless, but not in a I'm out there looking for trouble type reckless. I played basketball. I was into a lot of females. Just a typical teenager. Just that I was a part of a gang, and I always kept it low key. But only a few people that was around me, they knew what was going on, and I tried to bring some of them into it, get them involved. A few came, a few stayed, neutral, and up to this very day, we all still good friends. It's nothing. I even grew up with a lot of people who I used to sleep in their house. They used to sleep in my house, eat each other food and everything. And it's like now, since gangs done like really came into the picture like an epidemic, everybody's a gang member. Some way, somehow, everybody's a gang member or a gang affiliate. And it's just crazy that you could grow up with some people, best friends to the point you brothers, but gangs, they happen to separate a lot of that. And if you fall into it, yeah, you'll find yourself beefing with family members, friends for a very long time, but behind, what a lot of people call a rag or a flag. It depends on what side you want. Crips, we call it rags. Bloods, they call it flags.
And I've talked to a couple of cats from the East Coast, and maybe you can kind of elaborate on this, but they said that at the beginning that, I'm trying to put this in the correct words, that they were, I guess, cripping and blooding wrong, including the 8-Ball Alliance and things like that.
Yes, definitely.
Talk to
me.
And
you know what? I'm glad you touched on that subject because a lot of people don't really touch on that subject. But the 8-Ball thing, a lot of neighborhood sets, they were using the 8-Ball inside of a 6-point star, mainly some rolling 60 Crips. I don't know if they were real rolling 60 Crips, but the rolling 60 Crips that I know, they all emerged from what I told you earlier, the Ocean, 15th Ave and 18th Street in Newark, New Jersey. That's where I met a lot of rolling 60 Crips because once I moved out of that hood, I was traveling, you know, from state to state, doing a lot of karate fights, doing music, and you know, just getting out to explore the world, just to learn a little bit more than the hood. And it's like when I came back and just started, you know, seeing what's actually taking place. Yeah, you know, a lot of people was out here gangbanging. The ones that came at me sideways and tried to oppose me because I guess they learned a little bit of what they called knowledge back then, which was really incorrect. They tried to G-check me, and I make them look stupid, and I got a lot of enemies behind that for a while. But, you know, things simmer down, people grow up, some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as that 8-ball, yeah, they used to put the 8-ball inside of the 6-point star, which is really some GD stuff, GD, BD, folk nation type stuff. That has nothing to do with Cripper. An 8-ball inside of a 6-point star, a 6-point star, period. Doesn't have nothing to do with Crips, and Crips know that. The GDs know that, and the folk nation, and everybody that's a part of that particular branch, they all know that. And yeah, you know, a lot of the GDs and the folks, they was in a big disagreement with a lot of Crips using the 6-point star, just for the fact that 6-point star came from their system, their system of knowledge. It's a triangle. You know, one is upside down, of course, one is right side up, and each point stands for something. And through the time of that, the definition of the points changed. Sometimes it didn't. But there was a lot of folk knowledge going around the neighborhood that Crips were using and saying it was Crip knowledge when really that wasn't even the get down on that part. Nobody really learned about Cripping to the full until Monster Cody came out with his book, Monster. And, you know, a lot of people read that book, and it's like that book had so much knowledge to the point it was devastating that you could have been a opposer. If you read that book, you could have started your own set with every word out of that book.
Wow, I had no idea that people. I mean, it makes sense now that you say it, but I know exactly what book you're talking about. It's interesting that is one of the reasons that you know got everyone quote unquote right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Monster Cody, he was the reason why I became the Crip that I was today, well, that I am today. It's because of him. He was a big influence on my life through the gang culture, and I even had the pleasure to come across him and have a few video chats with him, a lot of phone conversations, but we never really discussed Crip business unless, you know, he was dropping some gems and giving me some knowledge. Otherwise, we used to just talk like regular people, you know, on just building, you know, seeing what can be better, what can change, what should be left alone.
Who's would you say is the biggest gang in Newark, numbers wise?
The biggest gang in Newark, numbers wise, hands down, it's the Grape Street Crips. They got it. They got it, man. They cover Jersey like water covers the earth, man. That's no lie. I don't take that from them at all. They are super deep, man. I mean, super deep.
And Jersey in general, correct me if I'm wrong, of course, is safe to say that it's a Crip state. It's mostly Crips.
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I say that it's mostly Crips, except for Trenton.
Gotcha.
Trenton, you know, it's Crips up there that exist, but Trenton's blooded out. Very blooded out.
Okay.
Even in the jail system, blood rule. It's a lot of Crips in jail, but in jail, blood rule, man. Like, I'm serious. I tell you that the straight truth. There's more Bloods in jail than it is to Crips. And the thing is, the ratio for that is about for every Crip, you got 7 to 12 Bloods in there. And trust me, if you go inside Essex County Correctional, which everyone knows is the Green Monster, just get ready. Just get ready for bullshit the moment you walk in, unless you're a person with high status, got a good street rep, and you know a lot of people. Otherwise, even in some situations like that, depending on who you are, everybody's gonna test you. Everybody's gonna want to test you. I mean, I've been tested a couple of times when I was in jail, but not by the people that would normally test. It's always the younger crowd, the ones that's looking to get a name for themselves and build a reputation. But that was a failure for them. I mean, seriously, hands down, I beat them motherfuckers up. You know, I'm at what they call the status of OG, original gangster. I had it since I was 14. Got stamped at 17. Didn't really start pushing the status until I was 21 to 23. Started my own set when I was 23. That's when I got permission to start a set at 23. So all of my friends that was around me, I recruited them.
How does someone get permission to start a set?
All right, I'm gonna tell you how I got permission to start a set. The guy who was OG in me when I was an 83rd gangster, he I can honestly say he had, you know, he pulled the wool over everyone's eyes, because to leave it to him, he was officially under Monster Cody. And he put that thought in our heads for years. And me and my group, we was out on the street doing what we do, going through hell. He was never around. But when shit calmed down and everything was all good, oh, he comes around and he takes all the credit for everything, which no problem to me. Because I still had my reputation in my areas, and which overshadowed him. And what it was, once I brought him to the hood and introduced him to everybody, it's like everybody was starstruck. Like, oh, shit, we got an OG that's higher than our OG out here. Let's fuck with this dude. And then it's like he took my whole set from under me.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah. And then, you know, I just rebuild. And it was nothing. You know, I came back with a stronger set, more numbers. And, you know, we did our thing. And when I actually came across Monster Cody himself, and I told him who I was and where I was from, I never once had to ask him, hey, have you heard of a such and such? Because I'm not even going to mention that guy's name, because he gets no more clout, no more fame, nothing, because a lot of us lost our lives. A lot of us went to jail behind his movement. And, you know, came the day Monster Cody asked me, he said, hey, so who's your OG out there? Who's your big homie? And I told him who he was. And like I expected, Monster Cody didn't know nothing of the guy. So that's when Monster got me what most people call left, which is super left, official, under the 83rd wing. By the time that started happening, a lot of attention was being drawn to me. Enemies that I was beefing with, that was 83rd also, they started drawing to me, and it's like everybody's paying attention to me, watching who I'm talking to, watching who's communicating with me. And, you know, all through social media, they go behind my back and talk to these guys on the West Coast and tell them, like, yeah, man, you know, MERC, he's this, he's that, and he out here, he did this and he did that, and he won't let us do this and he won't let us do that. Yeah. And those big homies told them, they said, hey, do you know what a big homie is? And those guys is like, well, yeah, we know it's a big homie, but what's your definition of a big homie? And then the dude told me, he said, MERC is a definition of a big homie. That man stuck his neck out for y'all just to make sure you was okay, and you go behind his back and this is what you do. We can't really fuck with y'all like that. But there's a lot of homies out there on the West that, you know, fuck with homies over here. And I don't discredit nobody. I don't say nothing, because at the end of the day, you know, the real is going to figure out the real. That's the simplest way I can put it.
It seems like, you know, rappers have been dropping like flies lately, man.
Man.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's pretty fucked up, you know. Just a couple of days ago, a Newark rapper just got killed out here.
I heard about that.
You know, he's the Bloods member.
Triple Beans?
His name, Triple Beans. Yeah, I was just looking him up. Yeah, Triple Beans. And, you know, I don't know what he did to deserve what he got, you know.
Explain to everybody
But
the story because I'm not too hip to it. I just heard the name and I didn't know much about other than that.
well, I can't tell you a story,
Yeah, or
but
just
I
what
can
you know
tell you
about,
what
like
I
what you read.
saw.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
Because it's on YouTube, isn't it?
basically, yeah, it's on
Oh
YouTube,
man.
Facebook, everything. I mean, it's major, because when I first saw it, as it shows on the camera, he was coming out of a store on Hawthorne Avenue in between 12th and Osborne, if I'm not mistaken. And he was walking to the Range Rover, and it's like, he didn't even have a fighting chance, man. He didn't even see it coming. By the way it looked, as the game goes, the ops had one up on him because they obviously knew who he were. You can tell just by the way they pulled out on the cameras. They pulled up and they double parked, and it's like the moment he came out the store, he went to his car, turned his back, and boom, they got him, man. And I was like, whoa, like it's you see shit like that every day up close and personal out here. I mean, honestly, it's like every corner you turn, something is going on, something is about to happen, or something just got to finish.
Oh shit! I grew up in early '90s LA. I wasn't even a gangbanger, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Something always fucking happening.
Man. And it's just like, wow, that could have been anybody. But to touch on your subject about all of these rappers that's dying, it's just crazy how clout, money, whatever is on your mind can just drive you and put you into that state. And what a lot of people don't realize is once, like Joe Budden said it the best. After that, rap in the booth is back to the truth. He said that on a song called Real Life and Rap. And he was basically talking about, the subject that we touching on now. I mean, this goes way back before King Von. We could take it to the Biggie and Tupac era.
Yeah.
And even a little bit further before Biggie and Tupac, you got what was
Scott
his name?
LaRock.
Chi Ali.
Oh, Chi Ali.
Chi Ali, Scott LaRock, yeah, all of them. Slick Rick. I mean, thing is especially when you're a rapper, you cannot say, well, you can say what you want to say about whoever, whenever, but there's always a consequence to it, especially when the situation is real. And those boys out in Chicago, man, I salute them for being soldiers in the field, but I also send my heart out to them because they are young. Man. They're babies, man. And, they I mean, even down to my boy Pop Smoke, like, for him heavy. It's like, once you start doing what you do, fuck the fame, fuck the popularity, fuck the numbers, man. Like, just stick with your fan base and your true supporters, and everything doesn't have to go on social media. Everything doesn't have to be discussed. Everything doesn't have to go live and on YouTube. Because that's how people catch you, along with your whereabouts. Believe me, I got a lot of enemies out here. They all follow me on Facebook, and I just look at their pictures, and these pictures is in the same area, and all the areas are so familiar to the point where if I felt like I wanted to react, I automatically got a drop on you, just for the fact that you posting up pictures everywhere you're posting with an address with familiar landmarks, and you out here talking shit.
Oh yeah, I have very few enemies, like literally very few, not even on a level that you guys would, but don't ever post my location. If I'm chilling with you, if I'm with my people, don't post where we're at. I just don't be posting that location shit, man.
Yeah, man, because it'll get you jammed up. And even down with the females, man. Like,
set your ass up.
I mean, yeah, females is like females to guys. I'm not even gonna say females is like, but females to guys, they are just like money.
Yeah.
The root of all evil. People
it's our
do
biggest
everything.
Pussy is our biggest weakness, man.
Yes, pussy is our biggest weakness. I mean, think about it. You as a guy, why do you get up every day and get money?
That
Why do you
exactly.
keep yourself clean?
Thank you.
Why do you keep yourself on top of your game?
Because if I see a
For a
female,
female.
exactly, and it's always been that way ever since we
Exactly.
went to high school, middle school. We freshened up our shoes. It wasn't to impress the
Yeah.
dudes. It was to impress the females and get some
Hell
pussy.
no. It was to impress the female. Because, I mean, I could, man, it's plenty of times when I was a young boy and, you know, I'm out here looking at girls, and I'm like, God damn, man. I'm out here in a sweatsuit and Chuck Taylors. Or I'm over here wearing this khaki suit with Puma sneakers. And they just looking at me like, what the f? But then, you know, once I started getting a little bit of that street money and going back to my natural brick city swag for the time being, yeah, you know, things started to look up, even though it was negative, things started to look up for me in a positive way. And what I mean by positive is like everything that I wanted to happen started happening. Though the way it was happening, how we would say, is against the law because our government disapproves of it.
Even though they're doing, it times a million.
Mean, yeah, right. You know that type. Yeah, man.
Yeah. But shit, you touched on a few things actually that I would like to kind of dive a little bit deeper into. You mentioned King Von.
FBG Duck.
Yeah, FBG Duck. Yeah, I want to talk to him about him also.
We can't forget about
man.
that.
If you gonna slide, pussy nigga, then slide in. That was my shit. But King Von, I want to talk about him specifically. Then I want to jump to FBG Duck on a totally separate subject. But King Von, right? King Von, I think he had it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he had the look, he had the flow, he had everything, right? For anyone who doesn't know, out there, you know, he got popped outside of a hookah bar by one of Quando Rondo's people. My question for you is, the dude who shot King Von is named Lil Timmy.
Lil Timmy, yeah.
Did Lil Timmy, in your opinion, and keep in mind, this doesn't mean you're glorifying it, but it's just like this. Maybe it's like this when you're moving in the street and, you know, you have 30 dudes rushing your homie. But in your opinion, did Lil Timmy do the right thing?
If you ask me, Lil Timmy, I'm not going to say he did the right thing. I'm not going to say he did the wrong thing. But what I will say is Lil Timmy did what Lil Timmy was supposed to do as an active gang member. That's what Lil Timmy did. Because I'm pretty sure if it was the other way around, it happened that way too. You know, like me and a few people, we had this discussion, and I don't choose no sides. I have my favorites. I don't choose no sides, but I call it straight down the pipe. You got the BDs out there, which was Chief Keef, Fredo Santana, and King Von, and all of them, right? What it seems like on the trolling part, they was getting the best of the GDs, which was, you know, FBG Duck and all of them. Okay. They was getting the best of them on the trolling part. But when it came to the actual game itself being played, as Casualties of War, I salute the girl Jakira Barnes because she was out there whacking big homies. She wasn't taking no little motherfuckers out. She was whacking big homies. I mean, people with a stain in the name. You know what I'm saying? And nobody wants to see their favorite rapper or somebody that they like go out like that. It's like, yeah, my man out here, he's spitting that hot shit. He out here catching bodies. He's selling drugs. He getting the bitches. He got the money, this and that. But when something happens to him, it's, oh, let's stop the violence. Let's be peaceful, this and that. And, you know, it's the same with FBG Duck, too. You know, I favor, I ain't going to say I favor the GDs more than BDs, because really I haven't been around BDs much, but I've been around a lot of GDs. And, you know, the GDs love me, I love them back, and we here for each other. But the thing is, even FBG Duck, he had his days of, you know, trolling, smoking op packs,
well, shit,
as they say.
Like, what, a month before he died, he had that song, Debit.
Yeah, Debit, yeah. That was the last song that I listened to
Man.
And I said, yo, these motherfuckers is wild.
Right.
They really out here saying each other names. And it's like they live right around the fucking corner from each other, man. I mean, you could literally walk 2 to 3 blocks over, not even do a drive-by.
63rd, 2 streets over.
Yeah, you could do a walk-by. And, you know, that's why I say, you know, when it comes to the game and not even the art of war, but war period, I really salute all of them on both sides because they soldiers, man. They out here doing what soldiers do, but it can always be better things done also at the same time. Everything don't got to be violent. You know, you could always result to that. Put the guns down and the gloves on movement too. I would love it.
Man, dog, you know what? This shit is
this
spreading because you're literally probably the third person I've interviewed maybe in the past month and a half who said that, and I love that fucking idea.
Yeah, I love to put the gloves on and beat the shit out of my enemy.
Love that idea, homie.
I mean, you can't go to jail. Nobody doesn't get killed. And, I mean, feelings and emotions are hurt and shattered, but you can always build back from that.
Yeah, and the problem is these guys can't fight, dog. I see every once in a while come across like an Instagram post from a rapper who's this big ass badass gangster rapper, and he's hitting a punching bag or something like that, practicing boxing, and you could tell he's never been in a fight a day in his life.
Yeah.
So it's just scary. That's why they're so quick to pull out the blammer.
When they see me hit that, the last video I did in the gym, I think it was a 30-second boxing drill where I was just letting my hands fly. I was letting them fly to the point it sounded like I started making instrumentals the way I was hitting that shit. So people look at it and they like, he has some type of experience. He has some type of training, which is true. Now, the thing is with rappers, they figure they go to the gym, put on a pair of boxing gloves, throw a nice little flashy combo here, nice little flashy combo there. Yeah, it's cool. It looks good. But do you have the endurance to actually go through that fight? It's the same as getting jumped in the gang, you know, like you might could throw your hands, but do you have the determination and the will to survive and keep fighting? Because where I'm from, it ain't how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get your ass back up.
Pop Smoke, you mentioned Pop Smoke, and for anybody out there who doesn't, to anyone out there who's not familiar, because you know I do have a lot of older cats who listen, who aren't hip to hip hop. He was supposed to be the next big thing, a Crip out of New York. He had everybody's cosign. He was the next big thing, and for lack of better words, he got caught slipping out here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, even for that time, he had his reign. I'm gonna say he was the big thing at the time.
Okay.
So he was the most talked about. Whether it was positive or negative, he was the trending thing out of New York.
I remember that. My question for you, because he got caught slipping out here in L.A. when the address got leaked in a very rich part of town. And and he got caught slipping, for lack of better words. But my question for you, and then you could dive into what you just mentioned, you know, if you would like to, how do you think rappers with gang ties should move, you know, when they're traveling from state to state?
Well, for the fact that a lot of them, that they have a big ass entourage, they feel a little bit invincible. No, me, I don't move with an entourage. My wife is right here. She'll tell you. When I go to shows, I'm solo. I'm by myself. And it depends on, you know, who's coming to the show. Yes, I will take protection. But luckily, I never had to use it. And that's a plus. You know, everybody out here in Jersey, they'll tell you. Even Pennsylvania, New York, and all the other places that I performed outside of Jersey, not once did an incident take place and it was because of me. Not once. Anytime I went to Pennsylvania and did a few shows out there, I had some Crip homies that was performing too, and a lot of shit kicked off because of them. at one point in time, I got in the mix of it because, you know, I wasn't out there a lot. So it's easy to throw somebody's name up who's not on the scene, but I was out there every weekend like I lived there. We came across them dudes. Long story short, I wasn't the one with the gun, but I was chasing the guy that had the gun, which was backwards.
Oh, damn. Okay.
But it's solid proof, man. I can put the people on the phone with you, even the people that had the gun. You know, we cool. But yeah, man, they need to move. You know, silent, like the bosses that they portray themselves to be, and you know, come with some love in your heart. To be honest, you know? You ain't too gangster to go nowhere and spread no love. I mean, that's the first lesson that God teaches love. I mean, I know when I was a baby, the first thing I learned how to do was love my parents and love people. You know, I can't speak for too many other people, but that's honest. That's honest to God truth right there. And
I like that, man.
You know, it's all on your aura. It's all on your attitude. And I mean, a hater is gonna be a hater. They gonna hate you regardless. But people that don't know you, when you go to shows and everything, there's been plenty of shows I went to. Sometimes I had a lot of jewelry on, and I went there with that attitude, like, yeah, I'm the shit. But that was a mental thing. I didn't walk around the club like, oh yeah, I'm that nigga, da, da, da. Because I know everybody in the club with me, so I'm cool. I'm chilling. I'm from one place to another, networking with everybody. Now, if you got a problem with me and you feel like you want to touch me, that sucks for you because everybody in the building is gonna beat your mother neck. Cause I got love for everybody, and you know, if it looked like things are about to get crazy, everybody knows how I'm coming. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Everybody knows how I'm coming, and you know, big bro Mozzie is there, and I try to eliminate the situation before shit get crazy because I don't want to go to shit.
No, we don't want to fight, right? Like, I'm chilling with my girl. Like, I want to have some dinner. I don't want to fight tonight. Like, can you know?
Yeah, like, you know, we all out here to show. Why you mean mugging everybody? Why you acting like you mad at the world?
That's the homie you can't take anywhere, man. They just mad dog white.
Yeah,
you looking at white boy?
Home.
Damn, dog, what you doing?
Yeah, that shit. You gotta leave them motherfuckers where they at. 10 out of 10, if they was to get in trouble, they can't get themselves out of this. But you can. But being that you the superstar, that's what the authorities are gonna look at, and they say, well, yeah, he's a superstar. He's the one they all came to see. He has the money, so guess what? We're gonna get his ass. And if he wants to, and if he values his career, oh, trust me, he's gonna give up some names, or he's gonna pay a hell of a price. Either way, we got him.
Shit, my last question for you, man. I used to fuck with the battle rap scene pretty heavy, you know, like maybe a few years back. Yeah, and I don't know what it is about New Jersey, but you motherfuckers have literally my two favorite battlers when it comes to that scene of all time. And like I said, I've been out of it for a minute, so I haven't, you know, caught up. But my two favorite are Arsenal and Shotgun Suge. I'm gonna just keep it, you know.
Arsenal and Shotgun Suge.
I'm gonna keep that's just
in the building.
That's just me personally. I'm just keeping it real. I just kind of like that disrespectful, you know, type of flow. Obviously, you got like Sue Surf, you know, like what is it about Jersey, man, and all these dope ass
his hood is actually 5 minutes away from, and Shotgun Suge and Arsenal, they hood is about 15 minutes away from.
Okay, and Sue Surf is from 60s.
Yeah, he's 60.
Okay.
Crescent Lane. Shout out to the homies at Crescent Lane.
Okay. And for the most part, you guys are pretty much cool with each other?
Yeah. We all don't got no issues with each other. I mean, at one point in time, I did have a heavy beef with his hood behind something that I didn't even do, but for the fact that it was other people that I was beefing with claiming the same set as me. And that's how I got drawn into that shit. And you know, I don't run from people, and at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and be like, hey, why the fuck y'all doing this to me? Nah. Like, you should know better. But we real good now, man. You know, the misunderstanding folded over and everything got clear, man. You know, they know who's who and what's what. But trust me, that hood over there ain't nothing to fuck with neither. They ain't nobody to speak for. Crescent Lane, that's another Crip haven.
Anything else you want to plug before we call it a night, dog? The floor is yours.
All right, well, you know, I just want to just give a shout out to everybody. You know, we in crazy, corrupt times to the point where we really have to get used to this adjustment, and we got to make the best of it.